Hey there, you beautiful badass. Welcome to the Carrie Croft Show. I'm your host, Carrie Croft, delivering you stories that get you pumped up and feeling like the unstoppable savage that you are. So grab your coffee, put on your game face, and let's do this thing, baby. Let's get real here. Aging isn't always cute. Wrinkles, things sagging where they didn't before. Do I hate my partner or is this perimenopause? I've been there. And that's why I'm all about Donaldson. From plastic surgery to aesthetics to functional medicine, they help you love your body and get to know it better. Want to feel like yourself again? Head to donaldsonhealth.com. And if you're a first-time client, mention the Carrie Croft Show for $100 off your first treatment. You're welcome. Who says you need a special occasion to feel like a celeb? I mean, stress is real. Life is busy. And your scalp? Yeah, it deserves some love too. That's where Headspace by Mia Santiago comes in. Treat yourself or someone who deserves it to a luxurious scalp treatment and a killer blowout or cut, because nothing says main character energy, honey, like a fresh style from celebrity stylist Mia and her team. And because we love a good deal, mention the Carrie Croft Show and get 20% off your service or any gift card for somebody in your life that you love. Headspace by Mia Santiago, because great hair days shouldn't be rare.
Well, good morning and welcome to your Friday. It's your friend Carrie, and it's just me today, looking at an empty chair across from me. Yep, we're going to do a Solocast, sitting my ass down in the chair, just me, myself, and the mic. Thank you so much for pressing play. There's like a zillion podcasts out there. So the fact that you've chosen to sit and listen and take a minute to spend your morning with me means everything. I was just looking at the stats here on my Buzzsprout, and it says we're in 1,600 cities, 1,649 to be exact. That blows, and 64 countries. So this little show, this little labor of love is being listened to in 1,600 cities. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for rating and commenting and just being a part of whatever this crazy thing is that I continue to build. So first on deck, the infertility series that's launching April 4th. If you know me, then you know that I've gone through 16 years of infertility, battled to bring my two children into the world, Dane and Kyle, and I've got a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience, a lot of resources around infertility and child loss. So April is going to be packed with people's journeys, stories, experiences. We're dropping, Jennifer Bullock is going to kick it off April 4th. I had the pleasure of sitting down with her. She is an absolutely incredible human being. If you don't know her, she is an anchor for NBC4. Jennifer lost her little boy, Miles, at 33 weeks. He was born still. And she has created a nonprofit called Miles Mission in support of him and his legacy and everybody out there who's going through child loss. She's just an incredible human being. And speaking of Jennifer, I had the opportunity for NBC4 to come in here last week and sit down with me and for me to tell my story on infertility and child loss, and also to talk about the surrogacy workshop that we're launching. So I am so excited that they took the time to come here and just sit with me and listen to my story. So that's actually going to be coming out April 14th, 7:30 p.m. on NBC. So thank you to NBC4 and Jennifer. It was truly an honor having you guys come in last week. My ultimate goal with the infertility series and just shining a light on infertility and child loss in general is I just don't want this to be something that people do alone. I don't want this to feel, I don't want people to feel like they're in the land of misfit toys. Life is going to hand you a deck of cards, and every single person who hits the pavement in the world gets a deck of cards. And sometimes the card sucks, and the infertility card sucks. I'm with you. It's not a card you would pick, but how are you going to play the hand? And there's so much information out there. There's so many people going through it. And I just want to be a resource and a guide for people to understand that, like, this is something that you will get through. And I think the biggest thing for me with building a family that I realized is, if it doesn't happen naturally for you and you find yourself on a path where for whatever reason this is harder than what you thought it was going to be, there are other avenues. There are ways to build your family, just ways that you may have not ever thought of, because we all think, oh, we're just going to get married and have sex and it's going to happen. And then what you find is that it doesn't happen that way for some people. So if this show can help be some sort of, guide, help, comic relief, whatever it is for people to feel seen, heard, understood, and less alone, I am all about it. So look for so many incredible, inspiring stories in April. And please take a minute. If you have somebody in your mental Rolodex in your life and your network who is going through infertility, who has gone through, that could appreciate what we're going to put out in April, please send the show to them. You can just hit the little forward button, send them the Carrie Croft show. I just would really appreciate that. We're trying to spread the word to as many people as we can in terms of this infertility series. So thank you in advance for that. And it's not just going to be an April thing. The idea of infertility is a through line for me in my life. And so it's going to be a through line in the show. So don't think that you've missed the opportunity to tell your story. Just send me a DM or an email, and we're going to continue to always have visibility on this topic throughout the show. So let's hit the surrogacy workshop really quick while we're here. The surrogacy workshop is live on the carriecroft.com website. So just go to carriecroft.com and you will see surrogacy workshop right there. Just click the button. I am so excited to have this into the world. I've thought about it now for, over a year. And the fact that there is this workshop that exists now that has every single detail, every single thought, every single step, every expert that I dealt with when I was finding my dream surrogate, it just makes me feel so incredibly fulfilled. And the idea that I already have people who are reaching out to me about the workshop and also about the next step, which is me working with you one-on-one throughout your journey to find your surrogate. That's also an option. I am so grateful and so honored that I can be of service to someone who is going through the surrogacy process. Am I anti-agency? No, I'm not anti-agency, but I am pro equal access to being able to build your family. So where I get very passionate is the average middle income person over here on the left. I want them to have the same opportunity to get a surrogate as the upper echelon person on the right who may have access to a lot of disposable income. I feel like those two human beings both have an equal right to build their family via surrogacy if that's the route that they need to take. That's where my passion lies. So there are plenty of people who are great candidates for the agency model, but there are also plenty who are great plug-in for the workshop. And I'm very clear, if you go to carriecroft.com and you look at the workshop, within the website, it will say, this workshop is perfect for you if. And number one, if you don't have disposable income to the tune of 6 figures to give to an agency, if you don't have time for a long wait list, if you are highly resourceful and you have grit and you can execute a plan and you can also manage a multifaceted process, then this is your jam. I believe it 110%. I lived it. I did it. I know that the sound of surrogacy is very, very scary and big and overwhelming, but you absolutely can find a surrogate on your own without an agency, period, end of story. I did it. You can do it too. What I would ask for the listeners out there, if you hear the word surrogacy, if you're at dinner, you're at drinks, you are at work, you hear somebody talking about it, if you hear surrogacy swirling around in the air, just reflexively, Carrie Croft. I just want you to think of me. I want you to let that person know that I exist, that this exists, that I can be a resource for them, whether it's just a 5-minute pep talk, whether it's a workshop, or whether they hire me one-on-one to walk that journey with them. I am absolutely here for it. And I am, can you tell? Can you feel the energy? Can you feel the passion? I am so passionate about the opportunity to be some small part in somebody else's journey. So carriecroft.com, find your dream surrogate workshop, She live. Tell your friends. Tell a friend to tell a friend.
Ready to elevate your self-care game? Boss Gal Beauty Bar is a modern med spa offering everything from cosmetic injectables, lasers and microneedling, to medical-grade facials and skincare. Conveniently located in Clintonville, Grandview, Powell, and Easton, making self-care a priority has never been easier. Use code CROFT for $25 off your first visit.
Hey, Maria Milligan here with RE/MAX Premier Choice. I grew up right here in this town. I know the schools, the parks, even the best places for coffee on Sunday morning. When you work with me, you're not just getting a realtor. You're getting a neighbor who knows this town inside and out. Let's find you a place that feels like home sweet home. Text me at 614-314-1355.
Okay, so moving on from the infertility series and more into some of the stuff I've been building behind the scenes and cooking up in the kitchen. If you're familiar with me, you know that I've spent the last decade building a fitness brand. And when you're in that world, you are so submerged with diet and exercise culture. And that's all great. You're never going to hear me say that diet and exercise isn't important to me, and it should be important to you. Those are two very key parts of, I think, a total badass equation. But where I think it gets skewed a lot of times, especially in this country, we are so focused on calories in, calories out. How many minutes did I work out today? What did I eat? Oh, I have to punish myself because I ate X, Y, and Z. I mean, there is, how many steps have I taken? There is such a hard-charging, all-encompassing culture with diet and exercise. And I know that a lot of people are missing the boat because they're so zoomed in on those two things. And what I want to do and what I am going to do with my program that I'm building is zoom people out into the bigger picture. And there is such a bigger picture in terms of being a total badass that you need to build. And that is what I'm building. So diet and exercise, yes, it's part of the program, but it's one part, it's one column. I'm so excited to present this and to roll it out to people because I know there are certain people that are going to hook onto this and be like, oh my God, this is exactly what I needed to sort of take myself to the next level. My goal for this program is to help you step away, sort of zoom out from the diet and exercise only component and really look more holistically at your life. Not only your life today, but like how do you want to be remembered and what is your legacy? So, giving you sort of a visual, you have this me first column or framework of this program. And yeah, that's where the diet and exercise sits, but there's other things there too. And then you take it a step further and you go into your core people. And this is where things get interesting too, because I don't think we realize how much toxicity we allow in our life in terms of who are you hanging around? Like, what does that look like? Do you need to do an external audit? Like, oh, but they're family. Who cares? Are they toxic? Like, how do we need to change relationships? How do we need to shift boundaries? I mean, that alone, that module alone in this program is a game changer because, again, we're not talking about diet and exercise at all. We're talking about toxic relationships and boundaries and where you're spending your energy. I mean, think about this. You have a finite amount of energy to spend every day. It's a finite amount. And if you thought of it that way, if you thought of it as a little bucket and you have this specific amount of energy and you're giving it out, you're doling it out to just random toxicity and bullshit, I mean, you would probably be a little more discerning around where you're giving. That's a huge part of this program. There's so much to this, and it's so exciting. It's so comprehensive, and I want to roll this out to 10 people, 10 or less right now. So I'm looking for my first 10 OGs to go through this 12-week program with me on really how to level up and just become your total badass. Who's perfect for this program? So it's someone who already has, you're highly motivated. You have the confidence that you can win. You have something, like there's a thing that you either want to start, or there's a thing that you've started and you're kind of stalled, or you're trying to figure out a way to level up. So, I've talked to people about, I want to start a podcast, or I've already started a podcast, but I want to grow it this way. I've talked to people who already have a business, but they want to maybe pivot, or they want to figure out how to be more efficient, or there's so many conversations that have gone on with Calendly that I have up on my website, just these free calls behind the scenes. I know there are so many people out there who could use a 12-week intensive sort of stair step into your ultimate total badass. So that's what it is. And when I think about this program, and I think about being able to take people through sort of this 12-week intensive thing that I've built, it's really exciting to me. There's a quote that I always come back to, and it's, "We're all living in cages with the door wide open." I think about that all the time. I think about that quote often because how true is that? We're all living in cages with the door wide open. We're sitting there because of fear. And we're sitting there, honestly, because we're afraid of what Susie over here thinks. Fuck Susie. Fuck them all. Truly. Like, if that's your reason for not leaving the cage, this program is for you, because I'll have you running out of that cage. So fear, internally, fear that you're not good enough, fear of what your peers are going to think, your family, and truly, like, you just don't know how to start. You don't know how to get from point A to point Z. And I get that. A lot of times on social media, you'll hear these influencers or these inspirational people, and they'll be like, yeah, just work hard, just show up, just, throw your head against the wall and you can be a fucking shit maniac. Okay, I would love that. I would love to be able to tap into this most beastly part of who I am. But can you maybe give me a staircase to get there? So what are the actual steps to getting where I want to go? And that's what this program is. I have spent so much time building, reflecting, how do I do it? How did I make that happen? And that's why it's 12 weeks, because there's so much to it. There's exercises, visualizations, there's modules. I mean, this thing is packed. I firmly believe that I have hit on a lot of really critical components that you need to tap into if you really want to dial into the best, most, the highest vibration that you possibly have. I've been wanting to do this 10-person test run for a while, and it just hasn't been ready. And now I really feel like it's ready. So if you're out there and you want to be a part of this 12-week, wonderful, comprehensive, holistic program, you know how to find me. There's more details coming around the bend. I'm going to do a live chat in the next couple of weeks that I was going to go a little bit deeper into it, more details of the program, and let's see who these first 10 people are going to be. Okay, last but not least, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. I want your story. So if you have anything that you feel like, I really want to share my experience with, whatever it is from a mental health perspective, please reach out. And there is no story that is too wild, too small. I know a lot of people are like, oh, my story, it's just not good enough. What does that even mean? Of course it's good enough. It's your story. It's your experience. And I, again, huge believer that whatever your story is, somebody else out there is like, oh my God, I feel it. I see that. It would not be proper if I didn't put a little call out into the universe for all of my kings who I would love to get on this show. So Lazy Bone, Busy Bone, Shad Moss, Ross Smith. I'm still pining for you and your granny. Theo Vaughn. I mean, obviously. 21 Pilots, obviously. Duh. Any sort of musician or hip hop king, I am I'm like a moth to a flame. I love having a good guitar in here, good acoustic session. So Thank you so much for continuing to listen. If you have a minute today, please go and rate and comment on the show. I would absolutely appreciate that. That's my laundry list for the day. Look for more solo casts coming from yours truly in the coming months. And yeah, if you have any questions, if you want to talk, chat, whatever, what you like, don't like, wish list for the show, I'm here for it. I'm here for all of it. And if you're still out there following your girl, follow me on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. And until next time, keep moving, baby.